Welcome everyone, my name is Raghu from Eden. Our special guest today is Thorben Linneberg, who's one of the founders and CEO of Aerospring Hydroponics. They are on a mission to explore product innovation and look at the broader impact of home-based urban farming. And they've made a real impact and dent in the market in Singapore, APAC, and around different sectors in the world. Pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. Aerospring Hydroponics is, based in Singapore. We design and manufacture hydroponic vertical gardens for both commercial use and home use. I am originally from Denmark, but I've spent many years in telecom and tech, but I've always had a strong affiliation for sustainability and innovation. And, the idea for Aerospring really came from personal frustration, living in an apartment with no space, no place to grow food, and food is extremely expensive in supermarkets here. We import 95%. So after some years of rewinding a DIY setup at home, growing a lot of food, maybe 400 or 500 plants in a large patio, I decided all of a sudden, look, this is great. We can grow our own food. It's not that difficult. And then I set out on a mission to build up this business and help other people achieve the same results that we had, which is, growing food where it's needed.
Now, what was your background prior to that sort of jolted or inspired you to get into the sector?
Well, really, I have a degree in business administration, so very far from farming at all. But I do come from a small town in Denmark, and I just grew up with having herbs and vegetables growing in the backyard. And I think ever since I came to Singapore, all the way back in 1999, I always tried to grow a little bit on my balcony, right? And so really, it's from my background that I understand plants better. There's no gardening culture here in Singapore. So I just set out to change that and teach people the joys of gardening and growing your own food.
And it's quite amazing to see where you've taken now. Like even our office in Singapore has your product stocked there. What do you think's making Aerospring Hydroponics different from other indoor or urban gardening systems out there?
Well, I think the most important thing here is that it is designed by gardeners for gardeners. And a lot of our competitors are doing what I would call design over function. But what I know very well is that if a product is difficult to maintain, difficult to assemble and clean, you will eventually stop using it. And so I think what is unique about our product is that we have come up with a very functional design that is still aesthetically pleasing, but it just allows people to use it year in and year out without getting fed up with the functionality and the maintenance of the system. Because eventually it's a tool, right? It is a gardening tool that allows you to grow food at home. And it just has to be easy to use in your home. It has to be easy to understand. Our systems are also very modular, meaning that over the many years we have customers, if something breaks down, you can just change out that individual part. Whereas many of our competitors, if the system breaks, you have to buy a new system because everything is integrated with each other.
Now, what is this system? What are the core features of the Aerospring Hydroponics system that you really believe resonate most with your customers?
Well, so one is that just like, Lego, it's modular. So you can literally start with a small investment of a few $100s and start growing on your balcony. And as you progress with your skill sets, you can build onto the garden. You can make it taller. You can add more plants to it. You can even turn it from an outdoor garden to an indoor garden. And this is one of the, let's say, the core features of our product is that it is modular in so many ways that it can, people change how they use the product over the years, and the system is able to kind of follow those evolutions.
What's resonating with the customers? What are the core features you think are really hitting home with them that keeps you getting them coming back?
Well, so what we notice is that a lot of our customers that are first-time growers, it takes a few, let's say, 3 months where we give them support. We have a very strong support platform with over 3,000 members. we support them for 3 months, and then they really know how to use the system. The features of the systems, well, obviously there's a tank. We have and pumps and irrigation. There's automatic lighting for the indoor. You have a mobile app you can control it with. But the functions of any garden is obviously water, nutrition, and lights, right, and plants. What we are seeing is customers come back and they buy more of those systems because they are so easy to use. I keep coming back to that same point, is that it's the functional design that hooks people on something in gardening. It is not, a sleek teardrop-shaped tank that looks beautiful, but 6 months later, when you have to clean it, you realize that it's impossible to clean.
All right. Thanks so much, Thorben. So look, in terms of the business, where are you now? How much have you grown? Great to hear the instigation point, but where are you in the marketplace now, and how do you compare to the rest of the marketplace?
Well, we are very diverse business. So our biggest market today is the United States, and we typically do $1 million just on Amazon each year. It shrunk a little bit in 24 due to, I think, political unrest in the country and other things. But the other thing where we really stand out to and are different than our competitors is that we are a truly global brand. So our products and all of the parts of it are, let's say, certified for sale in Europe, US, Korea, all of the certifications that you can think of. We are also an international team, whereas many of our competitors are just focused on the US. And besides that, we used to be very strong in the B2C area, maybe 95% of our revenue. But the last 24 months, that's literally gone over to 78% B2B. And so that focus over to the B2B side comes from shipping vessels. We have about 600 gardens on vessels sailing around the world right now. And they are growing food on board for their crew. I estimate about 35 tons of fresh produce is grown on vessels each year. We work with over 1,000 learning institutions and schools, in particular in the US and actually also in the Middle East. And then we have our very famous office farming, where we work with JLL, CBRE, Cushman & Wakefield. And one of our largest customers in Singapore is Standard Chartered Bank. In fact, the image here behind me is from Standard Chartered Bank, one of the office farms that we have there. And then obviously the last area, the fifth area of our business, is now commercial farming applications. And here we are basically able to improve yield by up to 400% over more traditional hydroponic farms.
Now, compared to when you first kicked off, what type of volumes are you doing now compared to when you first commenced the organization?
Yeah, so the first, I would say 2 or 3 years, it was literally just me and my wife doing the business. And we would have a turnover of maybe $200,000, $300,000, mostly just selling here in Singapore and in the region. That has then grown over the years. I think now we have about we're probably selling 2,000 units a year right now. So maybe 7,000, 8,000 units are in homes and apartments worldwide already. As I mentioned, over 1,000 schools, shipping vessels around the world, and commercial farming. So we're very diverse. And I think we have 4 or 5 really good verticals that we want to grow. And, that's why I'm trying to raise the Series A, to really fuel these verticals that we have proven some success in already.
Now, in terms of what you're doing in the world today, food security, sustainability are at the top of mind. Now, how does Aerospring Hydroponics contribute to these broader global conversations?
Well, obviously, I like to say decentralized farming, right? So in the more traditional farming methods, food is grown in certain areas of the world or of a country. The average food mileage in America is 1,600 miles for any food that you buy at the store. That's the average transportation. So if you remove all of that, the carbon emission drop is tremendous. We have always said, look, we got to grow a little bit of our own, much closer to where the food is needed. So the decentralized farming idea is that everyone has a garden on their balcony, right? Or we build urban farms on rooftops in cities, and we are already doing that in Singapore, where we have small farms popping up to grow food. So the second part of sustainability and helping the world out is the store-bought food that we purchase it's already maybe 40% of it got lost during transportation or got too old at the supermarket. So the food wastage is huge. Then you bring it home, you cool it in your fridge, and you're powering up your fridge versus just having fresh food on a pole that you harvest every day, just where you need it. And the final part of that is actually nutrition. Is that the nutritional value of the store-bought food is very low because it's been harvested weeks before, whereas the food that is grown freshly and harvested and eaten the same day, it has a much, much higher nutritional value.
Thanks, Thorben. Now, look, a lot of people assume, or many people assume, growing food at home requires expertise or space. How does Aerospring Hydroponics lower those barriers?
Well, first of all, we automated a lot of the hard work. Our systems take care of the watering, the lighting, and we provide step-by-step guides and customer support. So you don't really need a green thumb nor a lot of space to use our systems. If you can make a cup of coffee, you can grow food with an Aerospring.
It's as simple as that, is it? Do you see vertical gardening becoming more mainstream? Like if you just need a basic understanding, what's driving the momentum, I think? Do you think it's going to become more accepted across the board?
Absolutely, I do. But we've already seen this trend grow. Rising food prices, concerns about food safety, the dangers of systemic pesticides, the desire for self-sufficiency and driving people to explore home-based solutions is happening. And it's becoming more than a necessity. It's a lifestyle shift, right? So vertical gardening offers wellness benefits. It reconnects you with nature. And it fits perfectly into urban compact spaces. And for many, it's becoming, the new kitchen appliance, an essential part of a modern, sustainable home.
Now, looking ahead, with this on the point, what are some of your key goals or developments you're excited about with Aerospring Hydroponics in the coming year?
Yeah, thanks. We are entering an exciting new chapter. Over the past 2 years, as I mentioned earlier, we have transitioned from being mostly B2C, about 90%, to now about 78% B2B. That shift has opened up an incredible amount of opportunities, and we are, working with over 1,000 learning institutions worldwide, corporate offices in partnership with JLL, CBRE, and Cushman & Wakefield. We work with healthcare facilities, even shipping companies, to bring food production to places where it's never been before.
Are there new audiences or regions or applications you're really hoping to reach as the business continues to grow?
Yeah, North America has been our biggest market for some years now. It is the biggest single market for home hydroponics, but also commercial growing. But we are pushing harder into the Middle East. And so those are the key focus regions for us right now. We are already the market leader in farming at sea programs, which I've mentioned. And the segment grows a lot more in the coming years. We expect to get onto at least 2,000 vessels in the next 3 to 4 years. And also our presence in corporates and institutional sectors, working with clients like Standard Chartered Bank, Micron Semiconductor to bring food production to offices and educational spaces is something we're also working on. And so long term, we want to be the go-to brand for closed loop, farming, whether it's for cities, apartments, chips, or corporates.
Now, looking ahead, Thorben, what are some of your key goals or developments you're excited about for Aerospring Hydroponics in the coming year?
Well, it's really getting more resources on these verticals that we have shown success in, whether it's the shipping vessels, whether it's the educational sectors worldwide, office farming, and commercial farming. I think we have proven over the past years that these verticals very profitable. We have been able to turn our revenue almost totally to B2B sectors, which gives us much more stability in revenue, and really believe that we can really grow these verticals going forward. That's what I'm most excited about.
Sure. And any new audiences, regions, or applications you're hoping to reach as the business grows?
Well, to be honest with you, I think we are dabbling in many areas already, whether, education, shipping, commercial farming, homes, and offices. So I'm not really looking to find new sectors. I'm looking to grow these sectors that we have proven that we have, let's say, success in already. And they all offer huge potentials.
What's the most fulfilling part of building Aerospring Hydroponics for you personally?
The most fulfilling part is really to see how we affect people's lives, right? We have this support group with over 3,000 members. If you buy a product from Aerospring, the relationship really starts when you walk out of the store, not finishes, right? So we know most of our customers and we see them go through this journey. And there's something about gardening that is difficult to explain. There's some kind of zen, there's some sort of satisfaction. Giving people control over their food again, it's empowering people. And I can get goosebumps when I sometimes get these posts and I see people share their success stories online. That's really why we do it. It's to help people grow their own food and the joy that it brings them.
Now, what are you seeing? Look, you've got a background where you've grown this in. You come from a background in Denmark, you've got very international exposure. Are you seeing much of a difference between the way of operating or the attitude towards this, say, in Northern Europe versus Singapore?
Yeah, there are actually big differences. For instance, in the United States, people are more used to hydroponics. They know how it works. Whereas in Singapore, the gardening culture is almost non-existent. And I'm proud to say that we have probably played a pivotal role in reinvigorating gardening knowledge and gardening culture into the population. Because if you get an Aerospring and you're successful with it, what are you going to do? You're going to tell your neighbors when they come over for a barbecue, you're going to show off the garden, and that leads to more and more sales.
Yeah.
So there are big differences, but I think it's just overcoming this hurdle. People think it's complicated. It isn't complicated. In fact, growing your own food with a hydroponic system is the easiest way that you can get introduced to this. No soil, no mess, just lots of success.
Yeah, that's really good to see. And in terms of your drive, what's driving you to do this? What's getting you out of bed every day in the morning to continue this endeavor?
Well, it's to continue to make an impact, a positive impact on the world, right? I think as we all get older in life and eventually we'll have to leave this planet, I mean, I want to have left an impact on people. And I think that I'm already very proud of what we have achieved. Helping people become more sustainable, become healthier, and have healthier hobbies all around the world. And honestly, that is really what drives me. It's the impact that we can have on other people's lives in a positive manner.
Sure. And for anyone curious, look, we'll have some contact us options near the podcast. So anyone interested, look, we do encourage you to put your name down and we'll get your journey going with Aerospring Hydroponics. But anyone curious to find out more about it, whether they be strategic partners or people interested, how do they reach you to find out more about Aerospring Hydroponics themselves?
Yeah, obviously, aerospringhydroponics.com, our website, is a perfect place to start. We are also on Instagram if you want to see more of our story over the last 10 years. As a consumer, if you want to understand the quality of our product, I encourage you to go to Amazon and read our reviews. We have hundreds of reviews and most of them are 5 stars. It's very difficult to be a 5-star product on Amazon, I tell you. And that tells you something about our customer service, our attitude towards customers, and the overall quality of our product. We also here in Singapore have a beautiful showroom. And so if you are in Singapore, please look us up and come in and see the systems in action.